What is up, Sooner Nation? I am Casey Mallon, and you are now, come on, get with me, baby, in the Sooner state of mind. Make sure you subscribe on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Play, and Amazon Music. BetOnline is the world's most trusted betting platform and your number one source for online betting. From the earliest odds to in-game live betting, BetOnline provides you with all the action and the ability to watch the games as they happen. With the largest selection of odds on everything from football, NBA, NHL to entertainment and political props. Head to BetOnline today to get in on the action with America's most trusted site for online wagering. Bet online, the game starts here. Sooner state of mind, family, what is good? Major Domo Billy Bojangles sat down and had a drink with me. And it was not Gatorade Zero. But today it is. And this is my Pepto-Bismol sweatshirt. Why, you ask? Well, because the thought of this Bama game is giving me nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upset stomach. No diarrhea yet, but the day is young. So who knows? So I got that going for me. Oh, this is a bittersweet time of the year. College hoops is starting. And you get those scores across the ticker and it fools you for a minute. Like, damn, Wake Forest scored 50 on Miami. Oh, that's hoops. And it also signals the end of the college football year. And the way this season has gone, that's not the worst thing in the world. First year in the SEC conference. And we find ourselves not at the bottom. That's good. We've got Mississippi State at 0-6, Kentucky at 1-6, Auburn at 1-5, and then there's our Sooners at 1-5. Could be worse. Could be a lot better though too. So, and it is a log jam up at the top, and it could get even kinkier these last couple weeks. So we just have to see how it plays out. Won't know who's going to get this thing, and still lots to be played for on various levels. Our level's not so sweet, but there's still football to be played. And there's not been a lot of bright spots on the season. A couple here and there, but specifically one. Mr. Danny Stutsman, baby. This cat came back for his senior year, and now he is in the top 10 of all-time career tackles at Oklahoma. Sitting at 10 there with the chance to jump up maybe to 8. I don't think he's going to catch the Boz unless he goes crazy in 2 games, potentially 3. So, but what an accomplishment. This dude has been the heart and soul of this defense and this team. I definitely think he upped his stock coming back, and he showed the NFL brass how important football is to him too. And he's top 10 all-time on the Sooners tackles list. He's also first among all linebackers in college football with a 90.7 run defense grade. Cat is just tremendous player, tremendous teammate, tremendous person off the field. Sucks to see him go. Hopefully we have 3 more games with him. But if not, we'll be watching him next year in the NFL. He's working his way not only top 10 in tackles, but becoming one of the all-time beloved Sooners. Very popular with good reason. So congrats to Danny Stutsman. Well deserved. A big reason the OU team has struggled this year is because The offense has been offensive. Now, the Sooners did fire co-OC Seth Littrell on October 20th, and it's gotten a little better with Joe John at the helm, but it's clearly not done enough to hold on to that gig. And they're starting to hear rumors and murmurs of people in the mix. There's been a ton of coaches mentioned. And the hot flavor this week is former Florida head coach Dan Mullen. It's starting to pick up a little steam. I don't know if it's really got legs to it or not. But VEV addressed those rumors. He said, I'm not going to comment about the details of this search. I reached out to him a year ago. So no ambiguity in that statement. So you take it for what it's worth because it is coach speak at this time of year. He's not going to say anything about that, even if that is the dude. But BV also went on to say, if I'm talking to the right people, which I believe I am, they're going to be sensitive to finishing what they started and being loyal to their players. So he also said, but sooner than later is when I want it finished. Okay. So if that's Mullen, he's not currently employed by any teams right now, doing some, analysis on the suit side of things. So maybe those cats have had conversations. I don't know. I'm sure it will pick up once the season officially ends. So hopefully that's not until the middle of December. We shall see. There's also been a lot of talk about Ben Arbuckle. Not the Arbuckle Wilderness with the animals are waiting for you. We're talking Ben Arbuckle, the OC quarterback coach for the Washington State Cougars of the Pac-12 minus 10, the Pac-2. Even so, Cougs are scoring almost 40 points a game, and they have the 19th ranked pass offense. And last year, Arbuckle had Cam Ward. And if any of that coaching is rubbed off on Cam, he's doing a hell of a job this year. So that could be a major step in the right direction because Cam is playing great football this year. Don't know how much it had to do with our guy Arbuckle, but no matter who it ends up being, I don't care who the OC is going to be. It just has to be the right guy. This is a critical hire here, people. BV's future could be on the line with this hire. That being said, I trust Brent Venables and I trust the OU brass to make the right decision. So if either of those names are really in the mix, they'll start picking up steam. And if not, we'll start hearing some of these other cats get into the mix as the season winds down. So I'm not in a big hurry to make this hire. I know it's going to matter to some recruits, but they'll get the right guy in there. And that person might be playing football for a while, maybe until the middle of January. So who knows? But that right decision will come. And then it's only 143 days until the spring game on April 12th. All right, baby. Giggity-goo. Why do we need an offensive coordinator, you may ask? Well, these Sooners are only scoring 25 points a game. That's a major letdown from what's been going on in seasons past. Throwing 40 down on the regs, easy breezy all the time. So that's not getting it done. The run game's been a little bit better, creeping up to almost 4 yards a carry. That's okay. But yeah, the passing offense has been not good. Not good. So someone's got to come in and fix this stuff. A new OC. And No, what's funny is last year they wanted Lebigon, and this team was scoring 42 points a game, and that wasn't good enough. So 25 clearly ain't good enough. So we'll see, and hopefully we'll all be stoked out with that. And we have to ask ourselves, Jackson Arnold going to be back? We don't know. But right now, JFA is focusing on trying to get to a bowl game. And when he talked about it this week, he said it'd be huge. A lot of people are probably saying this team has nothing left to play for, but I mean, really, a bowl game to me is huge. Spending an extra month with the guys, the seniors that are going to leave, it's big. It's big for those guys. It's big for people who haven't even been to a bowl game yet, like a freshman. So just being able to be part of that atmosphere is a huge goal for the team. It would boost a lot of morale. That is true. He also went on to say, we've lost a handful of games in the Palace. That's honestly not acceptable for this program and the standard. So in regards to the seniors, getting this win, sending them off with one last win would be very special. It's going to take a special effort. It's going to take a special game. As a lot of stuff has to go our way. Not that it can't, but it's going to be tough. And speaking of seniors, asked BV about it. The press did this week, and he talked about Stutsman, Bowen, Downs, Farouk, and Washington. Those were guys that were at OU before BV got there and ended up sticking it out and rolling with him. And he said, I love them like my own children, loyalty being example, etc., etc. So I know Farouk can come back for one more season. We'll see what he does, but those other cats will absolutely be missed by this program. And it does suck that this season has turned out the way it has, but still life, still 2 opportunities to get it right. So hopefully they can do that. Will that happen? I don't know. I don't feel great about it. Hence the sweatshirt. So we got number 7, Alabama, coming to town on Saturday. The Crimson Tide, 13.5-point favorites at the Palace. Not good. Although OU does lead this all-time series 3-2-1. Bama won the first one in the 1962 Orange Bowl. You remember that. Bama, 17-0. And then they tied in the Bluebonnet Bowl in 1969, dude. 24 up. 2002, OU wins 37-27 in Norman. 2003, Sooners win 2013 in Tuscaloosa. And one of my favorite games, 2013 Sugar Bowl. Sooners won that one 45-31. Trevor Knight doing work, baby. What a game. No one gave us a chance to win, although my friend Holly in Norman did. She was the only one that thought we could win that game in the fan base, and they ended up winning that one. And then the 2018 college playoff semifinal, which I'd like to forget about, but cannot. Bama won that one 45-34. And this year, Mr. Jalen Milroe is playing pretty good football. He's their leading passer, but he's also their leading rusher. He's got over 600 yards on the season and a ridiculous 17 rush touchdowns. Are you kidding me? To put that in perspective, Javonte Barnes for the Sooners has 577 rush yards on 2 more carries and only 5 touchdowns. Ryan Williams looks to be pretty special. He's got almost 800 yards, 767 yards on 40 receptions and 8 touchdowns. The Sooners' leading receiver, Bauer Sharp, he's got 39 receptions, but 299 yards and 2 touchdowns. So, yeah, less than half. And then 20% of those touchdowns. Not good. More area for concern. Bama's putting up almost 40 points on their opponents, averaging almost 7 yards of play on offense. Gonna have our hands full, 85% in the red zone. Bama's lost 2 games this year in the takeover and the retirement of Saban, but they've lost both of those by a total of 12 points. And a down year in most categories for them, but overall, number 8 in scoring offense, but number 10 in scoring defense, giving up less than 17 points a game. Now, they can be run on, giving up over 130 a game, and overall number 32 in total defense. So, to put that in perspective, the Sooners are 24th in total defense. So, on paper, that's a win for the Sooners, but for that defense and for these Sooners to have any chance in this game, it has to start with containing Jalen Milroe. Easier said than done, my friends. His last 3 games, 29 carries, 278 yards. That's over 9.5 per carry, and 6 touchdowns. And that's only his runs. He also hasn't thrown an interception in those last 3 games. Why throw the ball when you can run it? So the question is, can we make him uncomfortable? Can we clog up those run lanes, keep him in the pocket, force him to throw? That's the question. That's the $1 million question right there. Can we? I don't know. But I do know it is going to be very difficult. But here's a bright spot. There's always a big but. All my friends have a big but. But in their last loss against Tennessee, those Vols made him throw the football 45 times. And in doing so, he was just 25 of 45. That's just over 55%. 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions. We could live with that. But why did he pass so much? Because the Vols shut that run game down. Held Milroe to just 11 yards on 14 carries. That's the formula right there, people. But since that game, he's been playing at a very high level. Got to have the bodies up front, clog those lanes, and have Stutz and them boys fire in there. And they have to tackle well. Got to get this guy down. And that's tricky in open space, but don't let him get out of that pocket. Don't let him break that first level of containment. And he got a shot there. And we do have the personnel that can do that. We're going to see a lot of the young guys get opportunity in this game too. So who will be able to capitalize on that opportunity and build some momentum moving forward? We're going to find out on Saturday. Now on offense for the Sooners, we just talked about it, only 25 points a game. That is not good. But they must take care of the football. Been a broken record talking about this, but the problem keeps appearing. Take care of the football, specifically Jackson Arnold. No turnovers, no short fields, and finish every drive with a kick. Either a punt, a field goal, or even better, an extra point. Take care of the rock, okay? Arnold should be getting a little help. He's supposed to have both Farouk and Burks back for this one. And that would be, or at least in theory, that should help the pass game that has really struggled to find any continuity. No identity. That being said, they are still going to have to try and attack with some big plays, which has been totally gone. Not a part of this offense 2024 at all. But we can't just let Bama crowd the line of scrimmage. We have to make them pay if they attempt to do that. Stretch it a little bit. I haven't seen it all year, so that could just be wishful thinking. But if we can execute like that, it will create opportunities specifically for baby Xavier Robinson. This guy has also been a bright spot on a pretty rough season. Dude is burning his red shirt for the team. So for him, let's get him a ton of snaps. He runs hard. He's got soft hands. He needs touches. Got to sustain drives and let this guy really get going and wear those guys down where they start making decision or business decisions late in that game, okay? Same with Tatum. Got to get these guys enough work so they can get going. No slop, no penalties, positive yards. Can't be in second long, can't be in third and long, even though we've lived there all season. And even though the future of this program is its youth, and that will be on display for sure on Saturday, I would love for these seniors to be able to go out with a win. Some really great seniors on this roster, and a couple are soon to be Sooner legends. And they're going to be taking the field for the last time at the Palace. So, if there is any possible way, may there be some Sooner magic to fill the air on Saturday night. Can we pull the big upset? No one thought we could in the Sugar Bowl, and we did it. This will be a home game for the Sooners, a night game. Maybe some wacky stuff happens, and we get out of there with the dub. Oh. Okay. How about a little Heisman watch? I don't know if he's going to be able to do enough to get it, and I don't know what enough is because this guy's doing a little bit of everything. Talking Ashton Genty on the year. He's got almost 1,900 rush yards and 26 rushing touchdowns. Freaking animal there. And if you want to compare that to the last 4 Heisman Trophy winning running backs, in 2015, it was Derrick Henry. At the same point of the season, he had 1,458 yards and 19 touchdowns. Ingram in 2009, just under 1,300 rush yards and 10 TDs. Reggie Bush, 2005, one of the best ever, 1,100 yards and 11 rushing touchdowns. Kick it back to the 90s, jump around, baby. Ron Dane for the Wisconsin Badgers. He had 1,600 rush yards and 18 touchdowns. Genty, almost 300 more yards than what Dane had. Genty, 7 more touchdowns than what the King had, than what Derrick Henry had. This guy is absolutely balling. He's got a little more time. He should get well over 2,000 rush yards. Maybe he gets over 30 rush touchdowns. If that's not enough, I don't know. I know they love the glamour boys, and there are some QBs playing some pretty damn good football, but what are we doing here, people? Now go back to August 8th to start the season. Our man DG, Dylan Gabriel, was the Heisman odds favorite at plus 500, followed by Carson Beck from Georgia at plus 750. Quinn Ewers from Texas plus 900. Jackson Dart plus 12. Jalen Milroe plus 16. Will Howard plus 2,000. Shedeur Sanders at plus 2,800. Move it to, as of the 23rd, Travis Hunter is your new favorite at minus 400. Ashton Jeanty plus 325. Cam Ward plus 1,000. DG now plus 2,500. Jalen Milroe plus 33. Shedeur plus 10,000. They do not believe that he's going to do it. So maybe next year you throw a couple props out there, find some guys low on that list, go to Bet Online, throw down a couple bucks, and you never know what happens. Travis Hunter nowhere in that mix to start the season, and now he's the odds-on favorite. Jeanty nowhere on there at the beginning. Now he's second in odds, so might be worth it. And then you get to enjoy that bet all season long, really get your money's worth out of that. So something to think about. Another thing to think about is this 12-team playoff, which I am completely stoked for. You cannot believe my levels of stoke when it comes to the 12-team playoff. And, these are going to change. But as of right now, Oregon is your number 1 seed. Texas with 2 S's, your 2 seed. Miami is your 3 seed. And speaking of Ashton Jeanty, the Boise State Broncos are your 4 seed. So as of now, that would be BYU at Ohio State, Alabama at Notre Dame, Georgia at Penn State, and Ole Miss at Indiana. Sexy. And it's going to get even sexier as we finish this season off. Woo! It is going to be so good. And then opening weekend, we get a Friday night game and then a triple header on Saturday. Delicious. Can't wait. There's going to be a lot of movement in these teams because some of them are going to do battle this weekend, and we're going to get to that in just a little bit. I've talked about college basketball being a sign that the college football season is almost over. And while we still have a few weeks, the other signal to the end of the college football season is always the Army-Navy game. And that is scheduled for December 14th at Northwest Stadium in Landover, Maryland. And today, Navy introduced its Jolly Rogers themed uniforms because they're going to do battle with Army for the 125th time. And these are freaking sweet, baby. Like I said, they pay homage to the Jolly Roger Squadron with the Striking Fear, the Bones themes. You guys see these gloves? They are dope. Under Armour's making them. And each year, these guys dole out a new uniform, both Army and Navy. It's rad. And this game is one of the top games, the most tradition, still fun to see it. The cadets, it's just a great, great environment. So we'll have a little more on that. I don't usually pull one way or the other, but I definitely have some rooting interest in that. Well, we'll see what happens. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So let's go ahead and look at the games we have for the weekend. Got some pretty tasty ones. I told you that top 12 was going to change because right here we have number 5, Indiana. At number 2, Ohio State. And Indiana's coming into this thing undefeated, but they're 13-point underdogs on the road at the Shoe. No faith in this Indiana squad. All they've done is win every game, but they drop this one, and they will free fall out into nothing and leave this world for a while. This is a huge game. See if Sid can get this done, baby. It's going to be exciting. We're going to find out what Indiana is made of. I think we know what Ohio State is made of. But Ohio State drops this. They win this. We're looking at quite possibly a rematch with the Ducks. All right. They should handle this, but number 9, Ole Miss at Florida. Kiffin sip. 10-point favorites on the road. Florida's starting to play a little better football. You know, they would love to crash this Ole Miss playoff sip party, right? Send those busters back. No playoffs for you. Can it happen? I don't know. Ole Miss has been playing pretty good football as well. Kentucky at Texas. Those Horns are 20.5-point favorites at home. Could we get lucky with Kentucky and doing some dirty work in Austin? Probably not, but one can dream. Number 4, Penn State on the road at Minnesota, don't you know? And those Gophers are getting 11.5. Penn State lost, and they could be done. Minnesota would love to wreck that. Get your little sweater vest and your tie going. It is going to be going off there. I'm not sure if Marcus Major is still the leading guy there, but Minnesota's had a couple of exciting games, dropped a couple they might should have won, but they would love to end Penn State season, or at least put some tears in the Nittany Lions' eyes. Oh, speaking of crying eyes on a feline, the BYU Cougars, Heartbreak City last week. Rock Chalk Jayhawk goes into Provo and does them Cougs dirty. It's no easier for BYU this week because they're going on the road, go from the cold to ASU to play those Sun Devils. I think the ASU might have been picked to finish last in the Big 12, and they could backdoor this thing into the Big 12 championship. They're 3-point favorites at home. BYU was undefeated until last week. And now Arizona State is playing some pretty exciting football. Got an outside chance to rep the Big 12. Stranger things have happened, my friends. Why not? Let's get crazy. Let's get freaking crazy, man. Speaking of crazy, the number 16 ranked Colorado Buffaloes at the Kansas Jayhawks. We told you Kansas did those Cougs dirty last week because they ruined the playoff dream for Prime and the Buffs. Colorado's playing some pretty damn good football too, man. It is going to be rocking there in Kansas. And I love the way Kansas is playing. LL doing some good work there. Daniels is playing pretty good football. They've looked really good the last couple weeks, but I want to buy this Prime hype. I want the Colorado Buffaloes into the playoffs, and I think the NCAA and especially ESPN does too. Prime brings the eyeballs, man. That is a party there in Colorado when they're playing football. And it's been electric. Shedeur Sanders playing outstanding football. And all of a sudden, these Buffs are in the mix. And if they got to host a playoff game, woo, that might be your 5 o'clock prime time on Friday night. It would be an outstanding scene there with that majestic backdrop with the mountains and the snow and the sunglasses and the rowdies and how friendly it is to the herbals there, that stadium, that student body will be ready to lose their freaking minds. And Prime is already getting hyped for the NFL if he chooses to do so, or will one of these colleges throw so much money at him that he has no choice to bounce? First things first, handle these Jayhawks on the road, finish the season. Still a ton of football to be played, but that Colorado story is a good one, baby, and I want to see that book. I want to read it to the end, so hopefully they can do their part to be there. Number 19 and undefeated Army at number 6, Notre Dame. Notre Dame, 14.5-point favorites there. Right now, Notre Dame would be hosting a home game in the playoffs. Right now, Army is undefeated, and they're not even in it. They lose the game, they have no chance. But if they can somehow run the table, how are you going to keep them out? Huh? You can't. But they are going to have their hands full with Notre Dame. Navy faced Notre Dame when they were undefeated and took a beat down. But this Army run game, man, it is no joke. It is leading college football, and it is hard to prep for in a week. So that's a fascinating game. Pulling for the Cadets. Let's go Army and see what happens. Number 12, Boise State at Wyoming. They're 22.5-point favorites. What's Ashton Genty going to do? These guys need to keep winning football games, stay in that mix, and then who knows what could happen with those guys too. Hosting a football game in Boise. You never know, people. And then just to show my city, Los Angeles, a little bit of love. This game doesn't have the allure that it's had in past years, but it's the USC Trojans at the UCLA Bruins. Trojans are 4.5-point favorites. Teams, I don't know if they're necessarily going in opposite directions, but Deshaun Foster and Eric Bieniemy getting that Bruins season turned around a little bit. They've been playing better football as we head down the stretch. USC snuck one out against the Huskers. A couple very questionable calls in that game. Some PI that wasn't called. So who has bragging rights for the City of Angels for the whole year? We're going to find out on Saturday night. It's a nice little game to wind into the late hours of the evening. I know some of you East Coast babies, oh, that starts late. That's 10 o'clock here. Well, don't watch, but I will be watching. So some pretty good games on the ticket for this weekend. Major playoff implications. Not a lot is going to be settled, though, until after next week. So there's still a ton to play for overall. And our Sooners have so much to play for. Oh, my God, that's tough. Bama's playing really good football, but we've been down before. Can this team, is it capable of putting it all together for one game? Are they? If so, can that one game be Saturday where it all just works out? Give the home crowd something to scream for, something to feel good about. Give these seniors the stage to go out on the right way, the right level. They deserve it, man. They've been playing their asses off. Haven't had anything go our way this year. A lot of stuff has actually gone horribly wrong. Maybe Saturday's the day. So collectively, between now and then, Sooner State of Mind family, do whatever it is that you do to drum up that Sooner magic. Think about it. Put energy into it, into the universe. Push it out there. Let's build this thing. Let's make some of that happen. Okay? We get that. We get to extend the season, take a little bit of pressure off of that LSU game. And it just feels good to beat Bama no matter what. Even if there was a lot riding on this game, it would feel good. Even though there's nothing on there, well, there's stuff to play for. It would all feel good. So just get it done, okay? All right. Ain't nothing to it but to do it. While you're out there doing stuff, go ahead and head on over to believe.com. That is BLEAV.com. Go to shows, type in Sooner State of Mind, and you are locked. We have a ton of great content. Every team, every topic, everywhere, believe.com. And if you want to watch Sooner State of Mind, head on over to YouTube and search the Football Dudes. We are there. Speaking of great content, a ton of great content. We have the Trend Zone, which breaks down all the NFL goodness so you can stack your Saturday with Sooner State of Mind and stack your Sunday with the Trend Zone. We got you covered for college and football. Like, subscribe, and be our online friends. It's not too much to ask for, right? Sooner State of Mind is brought to you by Bet Online. My name is Casey Mallon, and I am in a Sooner State of Mind.